Hey, friend, let me ask you this. What makes a brand truly irresistible? Is it the flashy marketing? Is it the perfect product? I think it's something completely deeper. The brands and voices that dominate the marketplace do three things differently. And today, we're breaking down the three traits to not only make you stand out in a crowded marketplace, but also draw people to you like a magnet. If you're ready to elevate your brand and connect with your audience on a whole new level and take your business to another level, then stick around because this episode is for you. It's fascinating to me how many different ways we can go when it comes to answering the question or solving the problem of how do I grow my business? How do I get more customers? How do I make more money? I don't know what comes up for you when I even pose that question. Like, how would you answer that question right now? I'm asking you literally. How should you grow your business? Where does your head go? If your head goes to where I think it's going to go, it's probably going to go to where most people's head goes, which is, okay, I need a new tactic. I need to be running webinars, or no, webinars don't work anymore. I need to do challenges. No, challenges don't work anymore. I need to be doing paid. No, I should be doing organic. I should be on TikTok. No, they're banning TikTok. So you go to a tactic, right? Or you go to a strategy that has a bunch of tactics in it. You know, I'm going to focus on high ticket, offers, or I'm going to focus on selling from stage, or I'm going to focus on evergreen versus launching, which I've talked about. Like, your brain probably goes there in that camp, that area. Okay. And there's a place for those things. But what if I told you that that is not the best way to grow your business? In fact, the best way to grow your business, most powerful way, let me be clear with my language. I think the most powerful way to grow your business is just to be freaking irresistible. Like, just be a brand that people flock to. Like, they can't get enough of. They tell everybody about you, for you, so you don't even have to optimize your marketing perfectly because people just want to throw their money at you, which sounds ridiculous. But wouldn't that be a whole lot easier if people just wanted to give you money versus you having to convince them to give you money? Wouldn't it be a whole lot easier if people found you instead of you having to find them? The answer is yes, by the way. And I'm not against tactics and marketing and strategies. We teach a lot of that stuff on the show. We talk about a lot of this stuff on the show. But real quick, this is in my mind right now, so I want to start here, and then I want to get into these three traits because I think this is going to be really, really helpful for you today. One of the most brilliant minds, I think, in the world in the area of business and marketing and serving people is Myron Golden. One of the things that I learned from Myron is something he calls the 4 levels of learning. Well, he's got the 4 levels of the ladder of value, but the 4 levels of learning, but it's the 4 levels of teaching as well. And so he talks about this, how you be a great teacher or communicator. I'm going to apply these same 4 levels to how do you be a great brand because, or, a great business, because they transition over. Like, the lowest level of teaching, he says, is tactics. People that can teach tactics, how to sell your first offer, how to grow your YouTube channel, how-tos, right? And that's what a lot of people want. And I make a lot of how-tos because it's what people want. I try to give people what they want, but I also try to give people what they need. But people usually teach with tactics. A level above tactics is strategies, because then strategies can have multiple different tactics underneath them, or a strategy could work for a long, long time, but the tactics might change. But strategies are like not only what to do, but when to do them, right? So strategy is really important. It's even more important than tactics. And you need both, by the way. A level above tactics and strategies when it comes to teaching is principles. Because principles never change. Principles are true no matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing. They're just principles. These are some of my favorite. I try to teach principles often. I try to teach principles and strategies, and then I'll dabble in tactics because the tactics change and not every tactic works for everybody. You kind of have to find the tactics that work for you, but principles work for everybody. And strategies then can be in these bigger chunks that you might fit this strategy or like this strategy. Then tactics, it gets really, really nuanced. So tactics, strategies, principles. And then what Myron teaches is the highest level of teaching is essence, meaning who are you as the teacher? Your character, your integrity, your intent. Is your intent towards your students good, evil, manipulative? Like, what is your intent? What is your motive? I think those are beautiful. As an educator, a teacher, a content creator, like absorb that, go nerd out on that. But that whole ladder, those 4 things, I think apply to brands as well. And how we grow our business. So there's 4 ways you could grow your business. You could focus on the tactics in your business, which there's a time and a place for that. You could focus on the strategy. Like, I need a new strategy for selling, not just a new, I need a new strategy. There's a time and a place for that. You could focus on principles, which I'm giving you a lot of, right? Because then you can build your whole business on principles, no matter what happens in your industry or the economy. But the highest level of focusing on your business is the essence of your business. And if your business is a content business, a creator business, a personal brand, you are your brand. Your brand is you. And so your essence becomes the brand's essence. And I think the most powerful lever we could tweak in your business of those 4 is the top one is essence. Who you are, how you're showing up. Is this making sense? This isn't even the main point of the episode, but I'm trying to get I'm trying to get our eyes off the ball, of the tactics. Like, Graham, I need to grow my business. I need to make more money. Got it. So we could go to tactics and dial up some levers. We could go to strategies. We could go to principles, which are even better. And we should do all 3 of those. But I think the most powerful hack you could do is just go straight to the top and let's have a deep, hard look at the essence of your brand, AKA you. Who are you? Because who you are is your brand. Where your ceiling is going to be your brand's ceiling. As you grow, so your brand's going to grow. This is why I'm huge on personal development. Not only because I sell it and teach it and I want you to buy into it, but I invest in myself all the time. I just stroked a multi-6-figure check last week to grow myself, to learn, for a coach, right? Because I have a million coaches. I'm working with like three coaches right now, but like this next one, I just wrote a huge check. That's how much I care about growing, because I realize my business is only going to grow as much as I grow. I need to grow. And one of the areas I need to grow in, I saw in this coach. I'm like, I'm investing in you. So if we can grow the essence or improve the essence of your brand, if we can make the essence of your brand irresistible, well, then people are going to kind of flock to you. They're going to be drawn to you without you even trying. Even with your current tactics, strategies, and principles, people are just going to be drawn to you magnetically, which is just going to make your life so much easier. And then as you develop and improve the right tactics based off of the right strategy, based off of the right principles for you and your audience and your brand and your products and all those things, then it's only going to be compounding in terms of money. Is this making sense? That's the setup. So what I want to give you today are 3 things you need to do, and you could start doing them right now, that I want you to see what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 15 years. I want you to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to take you behind the curtain in both of my brands, both the Recording Revolution, which I started 15 years ago teaching musicians how to record music. That became $1 million business. And now in this personal brand, teaching you how to grow and scale your business and build a more effortless business. These are 3 things I've been doing since day one. There are 3 things the best brands in the world do. And I'm going to let you in on them. So come behind the curtain and see what they are. And then more importantly, by the end of this episode, I want you to decide that you're going to implement all 3. I usually say pick one, but I want you to implement all 3 because it's a crowded world right now. The economy is kind of crazy. People are a little frightened. So a lot of business owners are panicking, and what they're doing is just looking for a new tactic, or they're slashing their prices. And you don't need to do either. I don't think you need any new tactics, really. I actually think you could increase your prices and you'll make even more money, because people are going to want to do business with you versus the other person because of these 3 things. You ready? Number 1, to be an irresistible brand, you need to empower people with your encouragement. What do I mean? Most people are walking around like an empty cup. They are so depleted. They are so empty. It is a angry, divisive, fearful, scarcity-driven world out there. And it requires so much of humans, their job, their business, their spouse, their kids, their parents, their church, their community, their friends, their own self-care. They're giving whatever. If you imagine people as a cup of water, they're giving out all their water all day long to all these people and all these things that it's required, and there's very little being poured back into them because we have a world we've basically become very hyper individualistic in America, at least, where we don't need community. We don't people used to get their community. Can I be real? People used to get their community from their house of worship, the synagogue, their church, or they lived in a town where they knew the people in their town and they never left their town and they all went to school together as kids and went to church together and worked together. Like there was real community. So when you were depleted, your community could fill you up. I mean, that's why you need to be connected to a powerful community and go find a great church. You know, even if you're not a Christian, go to a church and meet some amazing people who will fill up your cup. But most people in America, not every culture, but in America, don't have real community. They really don't. And they think they're fine because they can provide for themselves and they can raise their kids and so they think they're checking the boxes, but they wonder why they feel so beat down. Well, it's because the world is a harsh place out there, but you can withstand it and you can actually thrive in it if your cup is full, but their cup is empty. And marriages are falling apart and kids and parents don't get along very well. And there's not a lot that's going to fill your cup back up. Why am I spending all this time talking about your cup being empty? Everyone's cup is empty because these are your customers. This is your audience. Your audience has an empty cup. And they're scrolling on their phone or they're listening to you on your podcast or whatever. Like they're looking for something, whether they would articulate it this way or not, to fill their cup up. They're not really looking for something to buy. Although they have money to spend. There's no less money out there than there was last year. Plenty of money. It's just that what they really want more than anything is to have their cup filled up. They are so discouraged. I heard Jordan Peterson say one time that when he would go on his lecture tours, and he still does, he would just weep when he would talk to some of these young people coming up to him at his lectures, because he would just say the smallest bit of encouragement to them, and they would just come to life. And he started to weep, saying this in an interview that it's so overwhelming to him how little encouragement people need today to come back to life because they're that starved for it. Like they are that parched. Like imagine your customers are like walking around in a desert. They are dying of thirst. And if you would just pour a little bit of cold water on their tongue, they would spring back to life and thank you for it. It's amazing that whatever you're trying to sell, at the end of the day, the most powerful thing you have to offer people is encouragement. Why? Because they lack so much of it. And who's encouraging them? Nobody. Graham, what does it have to do with selling stuff? Watch this. If you're the one brand or voice or person or influencer or creator or YouTuber or podcaster or blogger or newsletter or whatever that they get, that their interaction with you and your brand leaves them feeling encouraged, well, that's very attractive. And that is very different because most brands, even if they have great offers, they don't make you feel encouraged. They make you feel inadequate. They make you feel like you're not doing enough or that you really need them to succeed in the area. Like, yeah, is your marriage struggling? We can solve that, which is good marketing. Like, problem, we have a solution. But I think you will be more irresistible if before you talk about your solution to their problem or make them even feel bad for their problem or, exacerbate the pain, like whatever the copywriting tactics are, can you just encourage them and specifically not just teach them things? Because this is what a lot of my friends and my clients are doing is they're teaching. They've got great content, but it's like, here, just do this. Just do these 3 things and you'll be fine. Do this one hack and everything will be better for you. They're giving information that will lead to transformation. If there's implementation, great. But you know what's more attractive and magnetic than just giving me the answer? Empowering me to believe that I can go do the thing you told me to do. The number one thing I've been doing for 15 years, whether it was to musicians or business owners, is every single piece of content they come into contact with in my brand, I want them to leave feeling not only do I know how to do what he told me to do, but I actually believe I can do it. Which means there's a lot of psychology I'm having to do in an episode. I'm having to speak to them with a level of trust and respect that, hey, you you're very capable. And you might feel confused about this microphone or this software, or you might be confused about how to write sales copy or how to make an offer or how to grow on YouTube or whatever it is. I get it. But guess what? You can do this. I'm going to show you how, and I'm going to be your cheerleader. And so I give them what they need. I give them what they're looking for. But I use empowering language like, you've got this. You can do this. Like, this is possible for you. I'm coaching them through the camera. I'm coaching them through the microphone so that they walk away feeling like there's more in me. Like, there's more to me than I've even seen in myself. I am more powerful than I think. And it's like, it almost doesn't matter. And I'll just talk candidly to you because you're watching, listening to this. It almost doesn't matter to me or to you if you do what I tell you to do in this episode or any episode. What I think matters more is, how do you feel after listening to this? Do you feel beat down or like, oh, I can't do this? Or do you feel like, I think I can do this? You know what? I can do this. And whether you do it or not, it almost doesn't matter because I've already deposited encouragement into your soul. I've poured some water into your cup, and now you're a little more filled up than you were before you started this episode. That's my goal. Real talk, behind the curtain, what I'm trying to do with every single episode. I want to be the person that's encouraging and you encourage through empowerment. I want to empower you. I want you to feel like you are more than you think you are. You can do more than you think you can do. There's more ahead of you. The best is yet to come. We're just scratching the surface. Like, you can figure it out. I'm going to be here with you the whole way. Like, I want you to say, Graham encourages me and I like his brand. I'm leaving better than I found Graham's episode. I'm a better person having listened to this episode. This is making sense? You can do this in your tone of voice. You can do this in the way you imagine this person that you're speaking to, because you have to imagine one single person, by the way, when you're making content. If you want really world-class content, don't speak to the masses, speak to the one. So imagine someone that you respect. Don't speak down, even inadvertently, even subconsciously. Do not speak down to your audience. Now, you can push and prod, you can challenge. That's not speaking down. Actually, I challenge people I respect. I just had a VIP client literally here in my office yesterday from Indonesia. Flew all the way from Indonesia to spend a day with me for coaching. And 4 hours of that day, towards the end of the day, I was challenging the mess out of him. We were talking about trauma in his childhood that he didn't even think was connected to the limitations he's subconsciously putting on his business. But I'm doing it because I love him and respect him. I'm not putting him down. And we have that relationship. He knows that. And that's what you need to do for your audience. You view them as someone that you want to win. Jay Abraham calls it being your client's trusted advisor. Like, hey, you trust me, so I'm going to tell you the truth because you're worthy of the truth, and I respect you. So you want to speak to them with respect, empower them, call them higher, call them up. Don't view them as just a number, and don't view them as just a person. If you do this, bro, if you make them feel empowered, and then one way to empower them, and I'll move on to the next one, and we'll fly through the other two. One way to empower them is give them actionable steps. Like, don't just throw a bunch of stuff at them. Give them a path. Give them one thing to implement. Reduce it down to its simplest form. Like, blow their mind with a concept or a principle, and then give them a next step. Sometimes people overload their students or clients with so much information because they want to provide value, which, if we're being real, they're insecure that they're not valuable enough. So they want to make sure that there's no way that that person feels like they didn't get enough value. So they shove a lot into it so that it seems valuable, but then that doesn't really help. World-class coaching and teaching is shifting mindsets and beliefs, empowering them to believe they can then do the thing, and then, hey, let's reduce it down to its simplest form. Here's your next step. Does this make sense? You do this, your brand, game over, way more irresistible than anybody else out there. There's a ton of people on YouTube. There's a ton of people on TikTok. There's a ton of people doing podcasts, tons of content. It's all the same, my friend, because no one's thinking about empowering and filling up the cup. Your job is to fill up your audience's cup every single day. Empower them with encouragement. Point number 2, and I've talked about this a lot, so I'm going to be very to the point here. You need to express with boldness. You need to express what, Graham? Your unique, provocative points of view. You need to be counterintuitive. You need to be countercultural. You need to be a rebel. I wrote a whole book about this. And it's not even about content creation, it's just about who you are. Like the way for you to stand out is when everyone's zigging, you zag. When everyone's playing it safe with vanilla content that's very, listicle oriented, very, searchable, very keyword centric, very like, yeah, I'm just going to copy what they're doing on their YouTube channel and just do my spin on it. That's great for a time. It might get them some discoverability because there's some flow with the algorithm of keywords, but it's not going to make you irresistible or magnetic. There are very few brands that do this really well. There's a good number of brands that do this pretty well. There's very few that do this in a world-class way. But when you do, you realize, why am I following this person? And you could say this person is in the same niche as this person, but you're like, but this person's on a whole different level. Like this person, yeah, they share this or they talk about this just like so-and-so, but I wouldn't even put them in the same category because this person thinks about things totally differently, right? So one way to be irresistible is to make sure, number one, that you're not forgettable. And if you act like everybody else, you will be forgettable. And then you have to compete on volume, or you have to compete on your thumbnails. You have to compete on, ad spend. Like, that's not a game I want to play. Like, don't play a losing game, play a winning game. So how do you win? Be the only one that's doing what you're doing or thinking the way you're thinking. Like, be in your own category. I'm literally reading a book right now called The 22 Laws of Category Design. It's like, how do you create your own category so you're as my friend Kerry James calls it, a niche of one, right? Because then people can't even place you. They're like, dude, she's just on a whole nother level. And they don't know even how to describe you. That's great. So don't be forgettable. You got to be memorable. So number one, don't be like everybody else. But then number two, when you're different and you have a different mindset or you have a provocative point of view, people are forced to think. Like you ruffle their feathers in a good way, and that makes you irresistible because now they're like, you're getting under their skin a little bit, and now they're going to lunch, or they're in the car pickup line with their kids, or they're stopping through to get their Starbucks, or they're laying in bed at night, and they can't fall asleep because they're still thinking about that thing you said, and they may not agree with it. In fact, that's a lot of times what works is when they're like, I don't think I agree with that, but they can't move on from it for some reason, partially because if you did the first one right, they left encouraged and empowered. You aren't just like a talking head that's just like, I think these types of people are idiots. People who launch their products are idiots. No, they're not. I still launch stuff at times. But what was that thing he said about evergreen? He says that you can make more money evergreen versus launching. Like, I don't think that makes sense. I don't think I agree, but I like this guy because he empowered the mess out of me, encouraged the mess out of me. And it seems to be working for him. Maybe he's right about this. Or the whole, I tell people, if you can't make 7 figures a year, so $1 million a year, working 20 hours a week or less, you're doing something wrong. I say this a lot, not because I'm trying to be an idiot or a jerk or mean, or it's because it's kind of true. Because if you like let that mess with you a little bit, like if you're working more than 20 hours a week and you haven't reached 7 figures, that kind of messes with you. But that's because I love you and I care about you because I've done it twice. And not only 20 hours, like it takes me 5 hours to run this business. We did 2 million last year. It takes me 5 hours. And I did it the first time in the hobby niche, selling to broke musicians. It took me 5 hours a week to make 1.2 million a year. Okay, so I know what I'm talking about. I've done it twice in 2 niches over 15 years. I want to mess with you enough that you're laying in bed thinking like, wow, screw that guy. Like real business owners, they have to work hard and he doesn't know me. But now you're thinking. Number one, you're thinking of me and not Joe Schmo YouTuber. Number two, if you think long and hard enough, you might be willing to suspend disbelief and think, well, okay, I don't think Graham's right, but what if he is right? Maybe he's right. Is there something that I don't know that he knows? Is there a way I could actually work less and not only make the same amount of money, but make more? And I plant that seed to mess with your brain, put like a worm in your brain, because I know like you'll figure it out because it is possible. And this is the way you got to think. You got to think differently. I don't want you to push and push and push. You'll clock out. You'll hit what I call the burnout barrier, right? Effort-fueled businesses fade. Energy-fueled businesses flourish. You need a shift, and that's the only reason why I'm able to work so few hours and make so much money is because it's not about my effort. I strategically manage my energy, and then of course I do a lot of other things, automation, premium pricing, really clear on my niche, trying to create a category of one, I'm not competing with other people. Like there's a lot of different things you can do to have a more effortless business. But that's just an example of something provocative, I would say, where I'm expressing boldly what I believe because I really care about you. What about you? What do you truly believe that might be polarizing? That would get people to pay attention, number one, which is huge. We're in the attention economy. Number two, get them to keep thinking about you long after engaging with your content, even if they disagree with you. And then three, actually make a potential change or investigate or pull that thread a little bit farther because it's still messing with them. How powerful would your brand be if you dropped nuggets like that made people pay attention to you, think about you long after they engage with your content, and then actually pull the thread and do something different because of what you said, even if they disagree with it? That's power. And you can't just make something up. Like obviously this has to be something that you really embody, right? You have to embody your brand for it to really be powerful. And so again, don't make up things that are provocative, that are random to you, but what do you actually believe that you know is polarizing? Not everyone's going to agree with you, but you've experienced it and your clients have experienced it. And like, if people embraced it, you believe, it doesn't matter what other people believe, you believe their life would be changed for the better. Does this make sense? So you don't want to be afraid to alienate people who aren't your ideal audience. And maybe we just need to pause there for 2 seconds because I think that is holding a lot of you back, is this fear that I will alienate people. Friend, that is the most powerful thing you could do, is alienate as many people who aren't your customers as possible. You will never grow if you try to appeal to everyone, and it makes you a desperate brand. You know how to be irresistible? Don't need anything or anybody, right? Think back to middle school with that boy or girl that you liked who didn't like you back. The more they were like, I don't like you, the more you wanted them, right? But there's that opposite. There's that other boy or girl that really liked you and you can smell the desperation from a mile away and you're like, no, thank you. I know. Nah. We don't like desperate people. We like people that play hard to get. At a subconscious level, it's we want the thing we can't have. And so I think there's something truly empowering for you when you're like, this isn't for everybody, and you can put your thing out there and say, you can literally say, hey, you may not like this. And if not, hey, you can see yourself out and we can still be friends from afar. I don't need you. I don't need your money. I don't need your subscribe or your click or your ring the notification bell. I don't need any of that. I don't need anything. I'm here to serve you. My cup is full. So I'm here to pour into your cup. I don't need your water into my cup. Like, can we just be real for a second? I think a lot of our businesses, we're so insecure, so desperate, so lacking confidence that we're basically at a subconscious level asking our audience or our customers to please validate me by buying my thing or liking my video or sharing my thing or subscribing or clicking or whatever stat you're looking for. Please like me. And so we are basically asking them, can you give me some of your water? Like, can you give me some of your water? Like, fill up my cup. I'm empty and I need this business to fill me up. Like, I know this because this has been me. I've been so insecure. I've been so desperate at times where I'm like, I need people to like this content, to know that I'm okay. Like, I'm beat down from certain things in life. My cup is empty. Maybe I'll do a YouTube video this week that people will love and it'll fill up my cup. Maybe I'll launch a new offer that people will buy and I'll make a lot of money and then my cup will be filled. How selfish is that of me if that's the way I view my business? Where I basically am using you to get something from me. I'm empty, so I need you to fill me up. That is not the way to be successful. You have to flip the script. You have to be here out of a place of pure service. I don't need you. I don't need you to buy my thing. I don't need you to like my video. I'm here to serve you. Because I know that if I serve enough people powerfully, and if I solve enough people's problems, the money will come flying in where my problems will be solved and I'm good to go. I've never focused on making more money as much as I focus on how can I serve more people and serve them better. So I have to come from a place of strength. And if you do that, whew, man, who's this person just popping off with these crazy thoughts that are provocative? And is she crazy? She knows people aren't going to like that. But it's going to attract a lot of other people and really attract them. This will magnetize the mess out of people. or magnetize the mess out of your brand and draw people to you like crazy. So express your polarizing opinions with boldness. Okay, and let's wrap this up here. Number 3. So we've already said we're going to empower your people with encouragement. You're going to express with boldness. So make sure you're empowering, you're expressing, you're not holding back, you're being authentic, you're being bold. But number 3, you need to enrich their lives with generosity. Again, this goes back to what I just finished saying. If you view your business as, I have an empty cup, please fill me up, make me whole, you'll be desperate and they'll smell it and you won't make a lot of money or have a lot of impact. But if you come to the table with your cup filled, which is why everybody needs a coach, everybody needs a peer group, everybody needs a family or friend to support them, someone they can like vent to. Like you need to get your cup filled somewhere else so that you can come to your brand and your people with your cup full from a place of service, but from a place of enrichment and generosity. So many brands are scarcity minded because every person out there is scarcity minded. And so they run their brand based off how can I get as many people to buy as quickly as possible without giving too much away. So they hold back their best stuff. They hold back their best strategies. They're like, I don't even want to do organic content. I just want to run ads so that people will just go straight to my offer and buy it. Okay, you could do that. You're not going to be magnetic or irresistible. And then now you're going to be a commodity competing with everyone else on the ad platforms, spending more, having to fight, make sure your ad stands out. I don't want to play that game. I want people to flock to me. How do you do that? You shift to being a generous person. Generosity is the most magnetic quality there is in all of human nature. Think about the most generous person that you know right now. Could be a parent, could be a friend, could be a mentor, could be a spiritual mentor, could be a neighbor. Who's the most generous person that you personally know? Okay, you got them in your mind? Close your eyes, unless you're driving. When you think about that person, how do you feel about them? You think they're awesome. You would love to spend time with them. You do love spending time with them. If they ever needed something, you would do it in a heartbeat. If they popped into town last minute and wanted to come over for dinner, you'd be like, oh my gosh, please. Like, you love generous people because generosity is magnetic. The people that help you move, and they're there on your hardest day. They call you or they show up at your house. They remember your birthday. They remember your favorite dessert and they send you it, Uber Eats randomly one night. Like, whatever it is, it's generous to know someone and it's generous to give and it's generous to speak life. Like, there's a lot of ways generosity plays out with our resources, with our time, with our words. So how do you become more generous so that you can become more magnetic in your brand? Well, if you have a content brand, like most of my clients do, they're YouTubers, they're podcasters, they're bloggers, don't hold back. Share the most powerful stuff absolutely possible. Just blow people's minds. Be prolific. This is the way I view content. The more cumulative hours people have spending time with me on YouTube or in the podcast world, the more convinced they are that they need more of me. It's not the opposite. People think, oh, they watched all my videos, they won't buy my thing. I mean, that would only be true if your videos suck. They'd be like, I don't know if this guy or this girl can help me. No, if your content is amazing, they spend time with you, they don't want that to end. They want more. So be prolific in your content. Number 2, in your offers, over deliver. Like, give people what they paid for, but give them more. It can be, I've like posted secret videos in a course or secret bonuses that I didn't mention on the sales page. Or if there's a certain number of live calls, I'll add some live calls just because. This is something that was out of scope of the coaching program, but I have a coaching program right now, my Effortless Business Accelerator, a bunch of incredible 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs in there. I was on one of our live calls last week. One of the guys asked me about YouTube. I clicked over on his YouTube channel live while we were on the call. I was like, bro, there's some areas here on your YouTube channel that I could, some levers we could tweak that would make this way more attractive and get you more clicks and more engagement, more growth in your business. And I was like, how about I just shoot a Loom video and I'll just run through your channel and I'll just do a whole breakdown, tear down for you. And I'll tell you exactly what to change, exactly what to focus on. He's like, oh, yes, please. And then another guy was like, can you do mine? Can you do mine? So I shot a bunch of Loom videos for some of the members that have YouTube channels that wanted me to tear it down. They didn't pay for that. That was just generous. I want to be generous. How can I just give more than they asked for, right? I think it's Proverbs 11. 24 and 25, but there's one gives freely and yet grows all the richer. Another withholds what he should give, and he only suffers want, meaning he lacks. It's like this paradox that Solomon is saying, like, okay, so there's one person over here who's giving all the time, and yet he just keeps getting wealthier and wealthier. And then this guy doesn't give anything, and he's getting poorer and poorer. Crazy. But this is the truth. This is sort of a principle that God wove into the fabric of the universe. Givers prosper. Test it. You'll see. Whether you believe in God or not, it's real. He believes in you. He made the principles. They work for whoever. But it's even more powerful in branding because the generous people out there are the ones that are attractive and become magnetic. So share more content freely. Think of it as like, how can I get people to spend more time with me for free? They're going to be more likely to want to buy my offer, not less likely. Does it make sense? All right, so let's wrap this up. Here's the irresistible formula. You got it? If you want to stand out in a crowded marketplace, it's not about being louder. It's not about being flashier. It's not about having the trendiest ad or the trendiest way of hooking people with content. It's about three things: empowering people, being provocative, and being generous. Empower them with encouragement, express your opinions with boldness, and enrich their lives with generosity. If you do those three things, you're not going to just attract more customers. You're going to attract raving fans who just can't stop talking about you. So you get customers and free marketing. And at the end of the day, the most powerful thing we have is our reputation, and your brand reputation will precede you, whether you like it or not, good or bad. And that'll either elevate you or bring you down. And these are three simple ways to make it trend in the right direction. I hope this is helping somebody today. Let me ask you, which of those three traits do you need to lean into the most? Is it empowering? Is it expressing boldly your provocative points of view? Is it enriching with generosity? Leave a comment below. Let me know which one is the one you're like, I need to press into this the most. If you're watching on YouTube, and then of course, if you're listening, shoot me a message on Instagram at @TheGrahamCochran. Let me know you listened to this episode, and let me know which one of those three you are going to press into. I promise you, if you do these three things and you make this habit, going back to what we said about Myron's levels of teaching, you're going to move away from, oh, what tactic do I need in my business? What strategy? What principle? It's essence. It's who you are and who your brand is. Game over. I hope this has been helpful to you. Have an amazing rest of your week, my friend, and I'll see you on another episode real soon.